This session is called How Social Media Affects Link Building. And you're going to be learning the role that social media plays as it relates to building link authority and, of course, boosting your search engine rankings. So the first distinction that I really want to make here is that you don't get links from websites or from blogs. You get links from people. Social media is a fantastic way to connect with a large group of people in your market very easily. So this means you can be socializing with your peers and oftentimes your competitors, as well as your potential audience. And because they're active on social media, there's a great chance that these relationships can turn into links, both from their social accounts when they share your content and potentially their blogs. So in this session, you're going to be learning about how social media affects SEO and, of course, how you can use it to your advantage to get links and to build your link authority. So social signals are very, very important right now in the Google and other search engine ranking algorithms. Google pays very, very close attention to tweets, retweets, Facebook shares, Facebook likes. All of those things are recorded and very closely watched. And if they see a bunch of content out there, let's say, for example, there's 10 articles on how to teach a dog to sit, and most of them have a few links here and there, but one of them has a few hundred Facebook likes and maybe 20 or 30 retweets and tweets. Of course, Google's going to look at that and say, wow, this one seems to really be resonating. We should really look into that. So I want you to be thinking about what these social signals are sending to Google. What are they looking at here? And of course, they're going to be wanting to see not necessarily the one that has the most, but the one that is tweeted, retweeted, shared, and really starts to go viral. The more they see this social activity, the more they're going to feel confident that you're the authority and that ranking that piece of content is a good idea. And when someone comes to Google and they click that listing, that it's going to be really good, high quality content. So social media has this really interesting ripple effect that tends to happen because people will find your content via social media. I know we're talking about search engine optimization, but what happens is folks will be on social media and they'll see a share and they'll click it. And then people will blog about what they find. And when they do that, they typically will link to you. And when they link to you, you're gaining lots of natural links, and that boosts your search engine optimization. So by being social, by being active on social media, you're not necessarily directly asking for links, although that's something you can do. Just because people find content via social media and then tend to share and tweet about it and blog about it, you end up getting a lot of natural links. So social media is a massive resource for natural link building. Just being active and connecting with your audience will start to gain you natural links that will go a long way in boosting your rankings. Okay, so let's look at a few specifics here of how you can use social media specifically for building high authority links. So the first thing to talk about is your content. And of course, the content has to be linkable and likable. It can't just be general content. It can't be, 500 words that are just kind of thrown together. It has to really speak to the needs of your core audience. It should be entertaining, it should be engaging, and hopefully it should solve a problem and really be something that when someone reads it, it's a great resource. So you always, of course, need to think about writing great content and think about something that someone would want to link to. A great resource that they could say, here, I'm going to write this write-up, but go check this out because this is a really great resource that you're really going to want to look at. And then likable, of course, that means something that someone's going to want to share. You're, of course, going to want to create content that people look at. And the first thing that they're going to want to do is click the tweet button or post it to their Facebook wall because it's something that really, really helped them. Again, it addressed a core need, and it was really something that they were able to enjoy and want to share. Okay, so let's look at the social link process. This is the process that you're going to be going through when you want to build links using social media. So the first one is going to be creating some profiles. Of course, we need to set up the accounts at all the various social networks. The second is to find connections. You need to know where to go and search and find people that are interested in what you have to offer. Then we're going to look at building some relationships, adding some value, and then lastly, we're going to be promoting your content and asking for links. Okay, so let's look at the first step here, which is creating profiles. Now, the first and most important thing that you're going to want to do here is have a complete profile. You definitely want to add about information. You want to have a little blurb about yourself, add photos, all that stuff. And of course, have links. Social profiles are typically very high page rank, high authority links. And oftentimes I see folks miss out on this. So as you can see here on your screen, I have an example of my Twitter account, which has a link to my blog, and then my Facebook page, which also has a link, and then my Google Plus page, which you can see says contributor to, and a link to my blog as well. These are all great links, and the Google Plus profile allows you to have a few links. So definitely get in there and link to your content. It's really a good idea because Google can go out and find all these social accounts and see that you have these and that they're linking to you. Because of course, that's another social signal. They want to see that you're active on social media. So definitely create your profile, fill them out completely, and make sure to get that link because it is a very, very high authority link. Okay, so the next step is to start finding connections. And there's a couple of really great resources that you can use to find connections and connect with people who are interested in similar topics as you are. So the first one that I wanted to show you was WeFollow. So WeFollow is a great Twitter directory, and you can search by tags and by topics and by location, and you can find a lot of people that way that are going to be interested in the same things you are, or if you're a business and you're marketing yourself, potential customers. So WeFollow is definitely a great place to look at. Find People on Plus is essentially the same thing, but for Google Plus. And then LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is typically undervalued, in my opinion. It doesn't have as many users as a lot of the other social networks, but the users that are on there are in business and are typically looking to do business with other people. So if you're in any sort of business to business type business, that's where you're going to want to be. And one of the best things that you can do there is join groups and join the conversations inside of groups. That's a really great way to find and get connections there. So real quick, I'd like to show you WeFollow and Find People on Plus because they are great tools for finding influential people in your market. So let's switch over to a browser. So first off, this is WeFollow, and WeFollow is going to show you the most influential people on Twitter for various topics and niche markets. So as you can see here on the homepage, they've got celebrities and music, entrepreneurs, social media, and so on, and a few of the highest followed and most influential people in those various topics. So let's use our example of dog training, and let's try to find some really authoritative and influential people around the topic of dogs or dog training. So up here in the top, we'll search for dogs. Okay, so here's a list for a bunch of people that are very influential around the topic of dogs. Now, as somebody, if I had a blog about dog training, I'm going to want to follow all these people and definitely keep in touch because they're the authorities in this market and I'm going to want to connect with them. So you can imagine how powerful this is because this is allowing you to connect with the top authority figures in any given market. And not only because they will share great content with you, you're going to follow them and get their updates, but you can message them, you can build relationships with them. And something else to remember is many people will actually follow you back. So when you go and follow them, you'll find that a bunch of these folks will actually return the favor and follow you. And then they'll be seeing your updates and potentially retweet what you have to say with their thousands of followers if it's relevant and they like what you have to say. So this is very, very powerful stuff. Okay, so now let's pop over to Find People on Plus. Now, People on Plus is essentially the exact same thing, but for Google Plus. You can find the most influential people for various topics. Homepage is very similar. It's got a lot of different people here that are very influential that you'll probably want to add to your circles. So let's use the same example of dog training. Now, as you can see, it's showing me people here that I'm going to want to add to my circles that are relevant to dog training. And again, this is a great start to building relationships with thought leaders and authority figures in this particular market. So you're definitely going to want to search for your niche market and find the thought leaders and go and follow them and connect with them. And now that we've looked at a few ways to grow your following, let's look at some ways that you can build relationships. Okay, so now that we've built our following using WeFollow and People on Plus, the next and the most important step is to build relationships with the people that you've connected with. You need to focus solely on adding to the conversation and joining the conversation, and anything that you can do to just be a part of that conversation. The last thing that you want to do is be overly self-promotional. And this is a mistake that I see a lot of business owners make, is they get on social media and all they do is push. They push their content out and they send updates and they talk about their products and marketing and that stuff, but they don't take the time to build relationships. But the real power in social media is connecting with people and having conversations, brainstorming, and really getting to know people so that when you do promote something, you've got an army of people that you have helped, that you've built a relationship with, and that they see you as an authority figure. They know you and like you and trust you. So build relationships so that when you do finally have something to promote, you've got a bunch of people who know you and are going to be very willing to share what you have to say with their followers. So one of the best ways to build relationships is to simply add value. You can share other people's posts or link to great content. So for example, if people who you follow are tweeting about really good stuff, don't be afraid to retweet it. When the time comes for you to promote something, they're going to remember the people that have retweeted them. So, of course, you want to share their posts and return that favor. And also, when you're sharing posts on Twitter, on Google+, on Facebook, you don't always want to be sharing your content. Link to other great content. You might want to go out and find somebody who you're following's blog and share a couple of their blog posts because it's probably very relevant to your audience. So not only is it going to help you look like the authority figure to your followers, but the people whose content you're promoting are going to pay attention to that, and they're going to remember when it comes time for you to share something, they'll likely retweet it to their followers. So always be thinking about how you can add value to the people who are following you, and add value to the people that you would like to build relationships with, and then eventually have promote your content. Always be adding value. So now that you've built relationships and added a lot of value to your followers and the people who are the thought leaders and authority figures in your market, now it's time to start promoting your content. And what I mean by promote your content is not only just tweet about it, but also send direct messages and send at replies to people that might be interested in it and say, hey, I wrote something, you might want to check this out. Of course, you don't want to be spammy. You don't want to go and spam everybody that follows you because you'll probably lose a lot of followers. But if somebody that you know might like something that you've had to write, or if you've had a conversation in the past with somebody and you know that this article you've just written is very relevant, you're going to want to let them know. And that's going to really nurture that relationship. And then it's going to make it so much easier to get retweets. And of course, this builds links, and then these links count for SEO. So you're building your SEO authority. And then this all sort of works together to boost your Google rankings. So as long as you've done things in this order, you've built relationships, you add a lot of value, promoting content is going to be great. It's going to work a lot better than if you were to just start promoting from the get-go. So another thing that I wanted to cover real quick is social news and bookmarks. Sites like Digg and Reddit, StumbleUpon, Delicious, sites where people are going to go and submit and people can read stories and dig the stories and vote them up or vote them down. These are also a great place that you're going to want to post your content, not only because you get a really good link back, but because if you have a really great article and it gets a lot of upvotes, you will get a lot of referral traffic. And then that referral traffic results in tweets, in Facebook shares, in links, all that good stuff. So social news and social bookmarking is definitely something to take a look at. So in conclusion, cultivate relationships with people on social media. And then you can see that link building becomes very easy because now you have a one-on-one relationship with these folks, and you don't get links from websites, you get links from people. So you're going to have a very popular blog. People are going to know you on social media so that when you finally do go out and promote your content, people will be listening.